Hi guys, it's me again, Firdaus, and this is my Satriano Club Sport. Today, in this LMNZR channel, I would like to share with you my end-to-end approach towards preparing and approaching Trackday. So we will cover something very basic from planning. We will cover about what tools that you need, what are the things that you can prep on your own using DIY, and then we'll talk about all the way until post-track day checks and analysis. Some of it may be overkill, but it is a kind of knowledge sharing session that I think I would like to share with everyone for track day junkies out there. It is not perfect, but how I see it, perfection is always a moving goalpost. So that's where we can learn from one another. Step number one is about planning. So you pick a date that you are comfortable with for a track day session, and you plan backwards 3 months in advance. That's how I would do it. The next thing is you need to set out an objective, right? What do you want to achieve from this track day? So it's whether you want to drive it for fun or you want to drive for a time lap, because that is important as it impacts the kind of effort and budgets that you need to set aside. So then I would look into my inventory list, right, to see my parts, what are the items needs to be changed and replaced, like oils, gear oils, tuning needs to be done. So that's the list of items that I have, and then I can actually start sending it to my mechanic. So by being better prepared in terms of planning, it will help you by managing your effort, time, and money. So step number 2, I want to share with you the tools that I have in my garage, and majority of them I normally bring to the track. At the very least, these are the things that you need to have, okay? So you need to have a set of screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches, gum tape, zip ties, and this one. This is a tire gauge, right? My advice is to go for the best one you can afford, because it is not a losing investment. So what you are looking here, this is a long acre tire gauge that I bought back in 2015 for about $25, and it has served me without fail. For a track day junkies, this is the things that you really need to have, right? Then we move on to the things that would be good to have or overkill to have, right? So I would bring a pair of floor jacks. You can buy this for 80 ringgit. Some, if you have a lot of money, you can go for aluminium floor jacks together with jack stands. I'll bring in what you call this is a pair of jerry cans. This is depends on you how you set up your car. Some cars do not need to have additional refuel while you are doing trekking, but for my car, I need to have both of them to cover over 30 laps. I bring over normally my breaker bar, torque wrench, GoPro with extra batteries, compact air inflator, plus cordless impact wrench. So these are the stuff by Milwaukee that based on the track record, these are something that you wish to have, and it will help you to speed up tire change, if any. Then lastly, I would like to share with you the kind of fluids that I use for track. So number one, we always go for the best oil that you can use, that you can afford. I would prefer Motul 300V, or like in this case, this is Synthium 3000. I find it surprisingly okay in terms of performance and in terms of oil temp. Then this is an endless RF 650 brake fluid. Go for the best you can afford. As for the gear oil, I used Motul gear competition fluid to protect the gearbox and LSD. And then a Motul coolant for the radiator, and a pair of still water as a backup. So those are the tools that you need. And I'm forgetting something. Extra set of tires. And I cannot actually bring all of this into my car. So normally I would bring another second car as my logistic car. And normally I would use my Mark 6 Golf R to bring in some of these stuffs over. Number 3, let's talk about what you need to wear to Sepang. Number 1, you need to wear a pair of long pants, right? The jeans will do. You can wear things like a thin shirts because panas kat Sepang. Then what you need to have is that it will be good if you can use a racing shoe like this, a Spaku, high cut. But if you are on the budget or you do not have it, it's still okay, because what you can do here is that you can try to find shoe that has a thin sole, right? So thin sole, like loafers for example, because thin sole will help you to get better feel from the throttle pedal as well as the brake pedals. It helps you for you to modulate better while you're driving. Then this is a glove, example of a glove. The advantage about this glove is that it will helps you to avoid getting your sweats coming from your palms to the steering, so that whenever you turn the steering, it won't be that slippery. But personally, I feel personally I would prefer to drive without glove if at all possible, because it is a direct connection between my hands to the steering. But sometimes our hands get sweaty, so that's where the slip happens. It's good to have this. Then I want to talk about helmet, right? So this is my advice to everybody, is that always go for full face helmet. Because number 1, it will protect your face further in the case of accident. And this is an example that I have been using for 10 years. This is an RI SK6. It is a cutting helmet that with RI reputation has a very good sole and molding for Asian head like myself. So the moment I have been using it, I do not want to use any other helmets, be it, you know, things like Bell or other brands or Spaco and whatever. Personally, RI is the best in my point of view. Okay, so that's about the attire. So when you go there, don't forget to bring in your driver's license. Without that, you cannot even drive in Sepang. Right, step number 4, I want to share or talk about things that we can prep on our own, right? Starting with checks. So when you open up your bonnet, check for engine oil level, brake fluid, power steering fluid, coolant level, making sure they are all okay. Or alternatively, what I recommend to you is that before track day, at the very least, change your engine oil. Go for the good ones lah, like what I've talked about just now. My preference, the number 1 choice is always Motul. Otherwise, you can go things like fully synthetic engine oil that is coming from reputable brands. Then from there, check for sign of leakages around the engine bay, because if you are found to be contributing any oil leaks on Sepang track, you will be charged penalty or fine for every meters that you drop. So that's going to be expensive. From there, another things that you can do is you check on the battery anchor points, making sure that they are steady and not moving at all. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how I'm going to swap the tires from the road set tires that I have currently, Westlake Sport RS, into Yokohama AO50. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jack up the car using two of my floor jacks. It would be good for us to use jack stand so that it will actually hold the car much more stronger when it is being lifted. Then I use the cordless impact gun to unlock all of the nuts. So the moment I open up the tires, I normally try to check the surrounding inside this wheel arch. I will look into the joints coming from the drive shafts, tie rod, ball joints, coilovers, making sure everything are intact, they are not loose, there are no stains from oil, so that from visually we know that everything here is fine. So those are the checks that we can do. The moment you are satisfied, put in the new tires. Bring down the car. Inflate the tire pressure accordingly using the mobile inflator. Double check. Okay. And there you go. That's about 15 minutes of job done. Okay, now that we have successfully fit in the new tires into the car, applied the tire pressure altogether, some of you might have questions. Okay, number one, what tires should I use for track? Number two, do I need to do alignment or not? So let's go ahead. Let's take one step at a time and cover about the tire first. So I would say it comes back to your objective of why you want to go to track. If you intention to have fun, drive with your friends, enjoying the driving, you can just practically use any tires available, even the ones coming to the factory, right? Apply the right tire pressure, then you can enjoy it. But if you want to have a better lateral grips or performance, then you can consider aftermarket tire pressure performance that comes in range. So the entry level ones, I would say, coming from Westlake Sport RS, Achilles 123S, Zestino tires, Bridgestone RE003. These are the kind of basic performance tires that you can buy that are not that expensive to enjoy. Then you can go for the next tier, which is Yokohama AD08R, and then tires coming from RS4 plus Dunlop Z2 Star. So those are a premium extreme performance tires that works well on the street as well as on the track. And I'm actually forgetting something, the reason why I choose semi-slick tires. Reason why I went for this is that every time I go to track is I want to go for the best possible time. And this is the reason why semi-slick works well for me. It is expensive at first, but it gives me the best possible lateral grip. It manages the tire temperature heat cycle very well. And then it is, I would say, a robust tire to go through Sepang. Then the next question is, I fit in all of this. Do I need to do alignment? So, if let's say you have not set up the car for a track day, meaning alignment setup, then I would suggest you to go to do that. It is because that we can apply the right camber and the right toe setup meant for Sepang. And in the case of my car, I dial in negative front, negative 4 degrees camber for the front, negative 0.5 toe out, while the rear is negative 2 degrees with 0 toe. That will give the right spot to get the best possible lateral grips. So the next question that I got is, what if I just use straight tires, straight bias alignment? So I would say it's okay, you can try it out. But the only thing, the limitation or that you're gonna have is that you will not get the best possible performance out of that tires to go around Sepang. So for example, using that setup, you might get less grip, washy kind of handling, and it is just maybe a little bit of tweaky. But to a certain extent, if you just want to go for with the intention of fun, why not? Just bring your car, drive it around Sepang just to get the feel of it. Okay, let's talk about brakes while we are doing this. I always have this opinion that it should be proportion to your car's power. You cannot have the brakes that is too weak for a car. At the same time, you cannot have too powerful braking power for your car. And for a very basic thing that you can do is you can go for steel braided hose, go for better pads, plus good fluid. There is brake fluids that cost between 100 plus, like a Motul brake fluid, Stott 5.1, all the way to Endless RF 650. At the same time, if you want to go mad, yes, you can upgrade the the calipers to twin port, or you go for 4-port brakes like what I have in here, which is Endless 4-port brakes. But the catch using this kind of big brake kit is that you're going to struggle with over slowing down the car on the track. So what I mean here is that your modulation from the pedal, it is not in sync to how much you want to slow down the car, just right for you to take on to the corner. So this is where, like a race car, they actually use servoless setup, which means that they take out the existing or stock brake master pump with aftermarket one and calibrate it just right so that the race car drivers have the better feel the moment they step onto the brakes. Going into very detail, professional drivers will tend to think about how much brake pressure in pounds that the persons need to actually apply for each corner and each corner. That's how you can go from a very simple guy, average Joe, all the way to a perfectionist.